Hi there and welcome to Thursdays with Annette at 2 o'clock. Thank you for joining me. We've got a great show for you, and of course, as you can see, I've got my apron on, so I'm fizzy fabulous. I'm in my kitchen. And today I'm going to be cooking a wonderful recipe, one that I've been making for years and years and years out of book 3, and it's this spicy apricot lamb casserole. So if you haven't made this, you need to, because it is so good and it takes little effort whatsoever. So if you're really not in the mood to cook, this is what you want to make for dinner tonight. Now, before we get into that, I want to talk about last week's show, because it was all about the quick, easy meals, and I made the chicken palmy out of book 2 for you. And I also made the fruit delight dessert out of book 1 and got lots of fabulous comments, because I think everyone wants it quick and easy these days. And this is another example of a super quick and easy recipe for you to prepare. So the winners from last week's show are very excited because they've got book 2 coming in the mail, and that's Sue Croft. Yay, Sue. Katrina Louise, how are you, gorgeous? Winner, winner. And Lindsay Brimble. She won a book as well. So they're all very happy. Now I've got my kitchen all set. I've got my bin, no plastic anymore, but that's okay. I've got my soapy water. I've got all my ingredients ready and the oven's on. So you want to turn it on to 180 degrees fan forced for the casserole. Now let's look at the ingredients first. We start with some lamb. So you want to buy the lean lamb leg steak. You've got carrot, celery, onion. What a great mix for a casserole. Dried apricots, some beef stock powder, curry powder. Now I've got some salsa, and it's up to you. If you want it spicy, then get the medium temperature salsa. But if you want it completely plain and you don't want it hot, then just put the mild salsa in. I've got a cup of water to go in, cooking spray, and of course we've got the apricot nectar. Now I got this idea of this recipe from way back in the days, because gosh, do you remember, anyone that's around my age, you know, we're like 32, when apricot chicken was the thing to make, and it was like the chicken, the French onion dip and the apricot nectar and that. Look, we made that to death. So I got the idea of giving it a bit of a makeover and doing it this way. So let's get started. First of all, I start with the lamb. Now I just want to show you the difference of when I suggest a particular cut and why. Because remember I said it's the lean lamb leg steak. So this is the lean lamb leg steak. Look at that. Isn't that fabulous? Look at it. It's beautiful. It's the beautiful lamb, Australian lamb. But here we have a lamb steak. It's a rump steak. Can you see the difference? What do you think Annette would prefer? Hello? Yes. This one definitely. I'm not paying for all that fat, because that's what you're doing. So you've got to cut it all off, and it's just a waste, isn't it? So let's just put that over here for now. It won't be going in the dish. And I'm going to chop it up. I've actually chopped up the rest of the lamb just for time. Now you can, if you don't want lamb, you can make it with chicken, and you can make it with rump, you know, the beef. So that changes the flavour. I really do love the lamb, because I think it just, you know, gives you that beautiful flavour with the apricots. Marriage made in heaven, hello. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the diced lamb into this bigger bowl, and I'm going to put in 1/4 cup of plain flour. I'll just pop this over to the sink. Now what you do is you coat the lamb with the flour. Give it a good mix up, and what happens is that in the casserole, that flour that's on the lamb actually helps thicken the sauce. So it does two purposes. It coats the lamb, but it also helps with the sauce. So mix that all in. And what you do then is heat up a fry pan. I'm using my non-stick fry pan here. Give it a good coat, and then just drop the why do I keep saying chicken? The lamb into the fry pan. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just brown this chicken off. Why am I doing it? People, count how many times I say chicken. I tell you. Okay, so in there is the lamb. And I'm cooking that, and I'm going to actually put a little bit of spray on the top as well. All I want to do is actually just brown the lamb because I want to seal the juices. So while I'm chopping, let's take these off. It's going to be cooking. So you've got one thing happening here. Now we're going to prep up the veggies. So first of all, we start with carrot. Oh, let me chop the board. Let me get rid of that board. Sorry. So, I might even swap knives as well. Here we go. I want a cup of sliced carrot. I was having this conversation with Diane recently about how I don't ever bother to take the skin off the carrot anymore. Do you? I'd love to know if you do or not, because I just give it a wash and they're so good now. I just think, you know, wouldn't it be good to have all those vitamins that we want in the carrots? So why peel it off? All right, so we want a cup. That's actually perfect. Now, we're going to, while this is happening, turn the meat. As I said, I'm just browning it. I'm not actually wanting to cook the meat. I'm just sealing it off, and that way the moisture stays in the lamb, so it really works well. All right, we'll leave that for a little bit longer. Now, the dish that I'm going to use for this, I'm going to stop it. Drum roll, please. Yes, out of the 70s, my fabulous casserole dish. Do you love? Well, you know, the funny thing is that this casserole dish was a wedding present from a friend of Bill's at work. I remember it. It came with 6 little ramekin things. I haven't got the ramekins anymore, but I still use this today. And tomorrow, the 17th of August, is our wedding anniversary. Yes, love you, Bill. Anyway, we've been married 44 fabulous years, and so this is 44 years old. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to chuck everything into the casserole dish as I go. So we now want a cup of celery. And we're going to do also a cup of onion. Let's measure it. Oh, I love the smell of celery. So this dish, all you kind of do is chop it all up, chuck it in the dish, and in the oven you are done. A little bit more. All right, there, in it goes. Let's stir the lamb again. Oh, it's so lean and beautiful. This is enough for 4 people. So it's a really lovely family dish. We're nearly done on that. Now I'm going to chop up the onion, and we want to dice the onion. I'm using a brown onion today. And the other side. And then all I have to do is chop up the apricots, and we're kind of ready to go. Do you love it? I know. Super, super easy. That's because it's one of my recipes. I only like easy, as you know. All right. Cup of onion, looking good. Now what I do is I'm going to take the lamb off because it's browned. It's really lovely. And I'm going to just throw it in the casserole dish. That's right. It really tastes great with chicken. I often make it with chicken. I think that's probably why I was saying chicken in the beginning of the show. It really changes the flavour when you go from lamb to chicken. You could even do pork because they all go so well with the flavour of apricot. Let's put that over here. Okay, now all I've got to do is with the dried apricots, it's half a cup. I'm just going to cut them in half because you don't want like really big pieces of dried apricot because it swells up so much with the juice. So you just cut them in half. This gives it a good bit of fibre as well, which is great. And it's just something different. I'm sorry, but I invented the sweet and savoury thing. You know how they're doing all the popcorn and things like that now? I was so doing sweet and savoury back all these years ago with this type of recipe. All right, now I'm going to stir it. Oh, there's a bit of apricot. So just mix all the veggies and the meat up. And it really is important to be in a casserole dish. You do need that secure lid because if you just put it into a dish with foil, it doesn't seal it as tight and it takes longer. So there we go. There it is at the moment. So there's everything in there. Now I've just got to add the few other ingredients and in the oven we go. All right, so I need 2 teaspoons of the beef stock powder. Now, if you were doing chicken, you'd put the chicken stock in, wouldn't you? Now, I want to give it a tang, okay? So the salsa will do that, but I'm also going to throw in a teaspoon of curry powder. I know, it's so clever. Now we put in a 300-gram jar of the medium salsa I'm doing, or you could put the mild in. Remember I said if you don't like it hot, no problemo. And we want 2 cups of apricot nectar. So in that goes 1. I think this is actually 2 cups in here. There we go, perfect. And the last thing that goes in is a cup of water. So you can see it's just a matter of chop it up, chuck it in, give it a stir, and it's going to be dinner. I know, I would have rice with this, but sometimes we've had mash. We don't mind a bit of mash with it. It's up to you. Oh, it's such a hearty family meal. And as I said, it's for 4 people. It serves 4 people really generously. So my little lid's on. I know, it's a flashback into the 70s. I want photos of your casserole dishes, okay, because I reckon I would win. So I'm going to put this in the oven. Has anyone got an older casserole dish they want to share? 180. I'm going to put it in for an hour and a half. Okay, an hour and a half, because it'll take that long. And basically what it is, it's just when the carrots are cooked enough. That's what you test it by. So you could always pull it out. I always feel like it's better when you take it out of the oven, let it sit for about 5 minutes. Give it a stir, leave it sit so that it gets a thicker texture in the sauce as well. So, who wants to win book 3? Because if you have to have this recipe, hello! Spicy apricot lamb casserole, it has got to be in your family's repertoire. Yes. And so if you want to win book 3, what do you got to do? You have to like, share, and in the comments, you're going to write Symply, #Symply2Good. Now, please remember to write it properly if you want to be a winner chicken dinner or a lamb dinner as it is today. #Sym, Symply2Good. And you'll go in the draw and win a fabulous book. And I will personally sign it for you. Now, next week's show, I'm sorry, I'm all about the kitchen at the moment. I'm going back in the kitchen next week. It is my favourite place in the planet. And I'm going to be going veggie. That's right. You know what? I love a good vegetarian meal. I think that sometimes it's good to have a break from meat. And if you've never tried my vegetarian lasagna out of book 1, hello, you know where you have to be next Thursday. That's right, here, because I'll be making it for you. It is delicious. I've converted meat eaters even and said, wow, I don't even care that there's no meat in this. This is so yum. Alrighty, so now the great thing is I've already cooked it up ahead. So you can see how amazing this dish looks when it's cooked. So this is the spicy apricot lamb casserole with some basmati rice. It is just delicious. That one that's gone in the oven has been divvied by Diane because she just loves it so much, and I went, all right, Diane, you take it home tonight. I'm such a good boss, I know. Anyway, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? Cooking it the Sym way. That's it. See you next week, and don't forget, for more tips and recipes and lots of other things on my website, simplytoogood.com.au. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye now.